Hello, and here we are again for the next part of my story about getting my license in Japan as a late blooming biker. Next was hill starts and high speed, while 40 kilometers an hour felt speedy to me anyway. I was feeling pretty good before the lesson. I really looked forward to going as it was a welcome break from being at work. The hill area is on the far end of the course, so that meant we'd be going into the area where the cars are practicing for the first time. Priuses everywhere. The two other people with me were a bit nervous about going onto the main course where we'd have to indicate and do lane changes as if we were on public roads. I was too when we picked up speed on the straights or came to traffic lights with cars also waiting. I didn't have any problems with the hill starts. The real issue was that my bike wouldn't come back from 5th gear. The other rider and myself swapped bikes halfway through and his was not in the best condition. I couldn't for the life of me figure out why it kept happening. I had the clutch engaged and was stamping down trying to get it into second, but it wouldn't go. It was embarrassing. I tried not to dwell on it and see how it went the next day, when I had 2 lessons back to back. Also, I couldn't tell if he was saying speed ageru or speed sageru. It's hard when you're on a motorbike with other motorbikes around you trying not to crash. The instructor had to shout at me as I had no idea what he was saying as I went round a corner. Fun times. Well, I still hadn't dropped my bike. Since the license will allow us to ride scooters up to 400cc, you get 1 lesson riding big scooters. The ones we rode were Honda Silverwing 400s. This was a lot of fun and a really different experience from the manual transition bike like the CB400 that we usually learn on. These scooters, although only 400cc, were really heavy, hard to push. Having nothing to grip with your knees was also weird at first, as were the controls. The instability at low speeds took a bit of getting used to, and you need to try not to lean into turns like we usually do, instead remembering to use the throttle to maintain stability. Overall, it was really enjoyable and kind of made me understand how much fun those scooters can be. Before you're allowed to move on to the second stage, you need to show that you've got a handle on all the stuff in the first stage. I had no idea that this was coming up next, and I took this lesson back to back with the previous one. We ran through all the things we'd done in the previous lessons to make sure we were where we needed to be in order to go on to level 2 of the training. I completely messed up on the hill start on the second run. No issues with shifting that day, so it was definitely the bike. I knew it. Now I could go on to the level 2 theory and practical lessons. I realized that I really needed to keep up with studying to make sure I was retaining all the new information. Doing everything in Japanese meant that I had to concentrate really hard, and there were a lot of expressions and kanji that I'd never seen before. I could already see that my reading had improved a lot though. The book had furigana, which helped me looking up words. I tried to think why they would have those. Maybe to make the course accessible to people who might not be able to read all the kanji. Whatever the reason, I'm glad they were there. It saved me a massive amount of time.